Let's go back now to Ecuador amid the general elections taking place in the country, and let's welcome Raul Salgado, doctor in political science and international studies, professor as well at FLACSO, the Latin American Faculty of Social Sciences of Ecuador. Hi, Professor, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Good afternoon.
So, Professor, there are 16 candidates running for the presidency today. However, there are two on the front line, current President Daniel Noboa and Luisa González from the leftist Citizen Revolution movement, who are also facing each other once again. Let's remember to our audience that they both ran for president during the early elections of 2023 following former President Guillermo Lazo's corruption scandals. So what's different on this occasion, and how would you describe both candidacies at this point?
I think the difference is that Daniel Noboa had 15 months a chance to demonstrate that he is able to lead the country, and unfortunately he hasn't been so efficient and I would say able to lead the country in the way it should have been, and the people are a bit disappointed about that. However, I would say there is quite a good percentage of population is still thinking that Daniel Noboa might be able to turn around and try to improve the country, but there is a huge disappointment by the population, and I think we are going to go to a second run of probably in April.
We've seen in this context Luisa González taking her political campaign to the streets, while Noboa stayed indoors, releasing his electoral campaign on social media. How could these different approaches to the people be decisive on this election's outcome?
It is a case. I think there's a huge problem in the country because of the violence. It hasn't been possible to control. There is a huge rate of unemployment, and we had a huge electrical crisis last year. Luisa González, I would say the apparatus behind her is not new. It's an established organization. They have experience, but it's not easy to turn around the situation in 1 or 2 years. It will take a long time to improve the situation of the country. The problem of the 7 last years of bad management of the country, bad politics, I think it's damaged the infrastructure of Ecuador. It has also decreased the possibilities of employment. The employment rate is very high. There is no really possibilities for young people to work. There is less invest in the infrastructure and in the social systems, and that is collapsing. And unfortunately, this president has been able to manage it either. So I think maybe the experience or that another different kind of policy might be possible to change the situation, but it won't be an easy task for whoever wins the election.
Professor, also you mentioned the political spectrum of the country, and in this context the electoral campaign has been overshadowed by claims of unconstitutionality by the Vice President Veronica Abad, who was elected by the people in 2023 and who has been left aside by President Noboa in this current scenario. How could this controversy affect the voting intention?
Unfortunately, the way of how people understand, I would say, the possibilities of leading the country, how they understand democracy, the political culture here in Ecuador is not well developed. The people don't understand about the meaning of violating their constitution and the major laws, and it's obvious that the president has violated at least twice or 3 times the constitution, and people, well, I would say people who understand the problem behind this kind of behavior of the president probably are very upset about that, and will probably change their minds and might affect the way how they elect. However, I would say the way how the party, the political organization of the president, and the way how they manage the communication has impacted in the way how young people particularly understand politics. Unfortunately, they haven't developed a consciousness of political democracy and how actually the rights should work, how democracy should work. I would say, therefore, President Novoa will have a great amount of support by young people.
Today, Ecuadorians are going also to choose as well 151 seats in the National Assembly, 5 representatives to the Andean Parliament, and this time there will be an important change. Previously, the people elected only 137 assembly members, but now Ecuador will have to vote for more 151 legislators. How could this election reshape the country's legislative power?
Well, it's according to the estimates, I would say it's going to be quite difficult for whoever wins the election, because nobody will have a great majority in the parliament, the National Assembly. It's probably going to be about 35% of the representatives in the assembly by the party of Daniel Noboa, and probably by Gonzalez and her party about 35-40%. That means not really a great majority. That will be a big problem for both of them. Unfortunately, it is a difficult situation when they don't have support of the assembly, because the policies need to go through, and this quantity of parties and political organizations makes also difficult to build a coalition in the assembly. So it's going to be challenging for whoever wins the election.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor, for your time here from the South.
You're welcome.
We were speaking to Raul Salgado, Doctor in Political Science and International Studies, Professor at the Latin American Faculty of Social Sciences of Ecuador in the framework of the General Elections in this country. And with this interview, let's take a short break, but we'll be right back.